Now let's look at taking the approach of understanding and its benefits. Now, in any aspect of life, we see where when we take the time to understand any social phenomenon, that we are better able to coexist with it. And if you can remember from my last topic where I spoke about compatibility being about accepting each other for who we are and loving unconditionally, this also applies to determining whether or not we are ready for a real relationship. What do I mean? When you decide to enter into a relationship, understanding and accepting all that it entails. That is, understanding that where pros exist, cons do exist. Where benefits exist, so do risk. And so forth and so on. You get in with a much more practical and realistic mindset that has a more positive influence on the quality of your relationship. The fundamental reason for this is because you then therefore build your expectations on realistic values rather than on an idealistic value system that forces you to want to control a combination of biological and sociological contradictions and counteractions that are reciprocal in nature, thereby making us complex beings. That is to say that, for example, and I know many of you will disagree, by nature we are polygamous, but sociologically, particularly in the Western world, we are socialized to value monogamous relationships. Now, the point here is not to agree or disagree with me, but it's to accept that it is futile to want to control your partner when your interaction with them is not the only factor that determines how they act, feel, behave, or think about anything. I find that when you spend your energy trying to understand your partner and less time trying to control them, you free yourself of all the burdens of control. You therefore have more energy to love unconditionally, to trust, to be secure, and guess what? If the relationship fails, most importantly, to bounce back and do it. The doing it all over again part is the actual hard part. And this is why so many people try so hard to control, to hold on to their partner. Because of that fear to start all over again. But it goes back to what I said earlier. With a practical, realistic mindset, getting into a relationship, you won't just expect the best. And I'm not saying that you should get into a relationship always thinking about the worst thing that can happen and not working it out with your partner. But I'm just saying, always understand that it can go either way. Because that's what life is about. It comes with the package. Accept and move on. Now I could also suggest the obvious. Maybe a relationship isn't for you anyways, but is that really practical in terms of us being who we are as human beings, as social creatures? Well, maybe for some of you it might be, but at the end of the day, you decide for you and not decide for others. I think one of the most fulfilling thing about a relationship, whether it fails or not, is knowing you put your all in it. Win, lose, or draw, you have no regrets. You learn from the experience and you move on like every other aspect. This has been Lovewise with your boy Mike, and I know this one has been a little bit lengthier than normal, and I know it has also left quite a bit of unanswered questions and issues and things for you to even think about. But this is what I'm about, guys. Sharing my views and suggestions and how we could actually put a little bit more thought in our relationship process, because when it comes to the matters of the heart, I think you get the best of both worlds when you put not just your heart but also your mind in it. And this is what Lovewise is about, loving wisely, and that's what I'm about here. And meet me again on Lovewise Weekly. Bless up, love you, big up, boom.